temporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. Zambia inflation rate falls to 7.5% in February and 6 down from 9.4% in January. Zambia police arrest Mambo Zimba in Lusaka over disruptive electronic communication charges. And Trump's theoretical State of the Union address offers little hint on any change in course. This bulletin is streaming live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia, and also live on our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie. The Zambia Statistics Agency has announced the drop of the annual inflation for February 2026 to 7.5% from 9.4% in January 2026, representing a 1.9 percentage point. Acting Statistician General Sheila Mudenda attributed this decline to changes in both food and non-food prices. She noted that annual food inflation eased to 8.2% in February from 10.9% in January, largely due to price adjustments in cereals such as maize grain, breakfast meal, roller meal, imported rice, and plain wheat flour. Price reductions in fruits including lemons, bananas, watermelons, and avocados, and vegetables such as lumanda, cassava leaves, tomatoes, cucumber, sweet potatoes, and green peppers also contributed, along with lower prices for fresh milk and cooking oil. On the non-food side, annual inflation dropped to 6.5% from 7.3% in January. This decrease was mainly linked to lower fuel costs, particularly diesel and petrol, reduced passenger air transport fares, both domestically and regionally, as well as decreased prices for motor vehicles and accommodation services. Ms. Madenda emphasized that the combined easing of both food and non-food prices was key to the overall reduction in inflation observed in February. The Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, has seized over 4,700 cases of assorted smuggled alcoholic beverages in Kazungula in a crackdown conducted on 22nd February 2026. The seizure has resulted in a revenue loss of more than 4.1 million kwacha. ZRA Corporate Communications Manager Oliver Nzala says the alcoholic beverages were allegedly being smuggled into the country by 5 importers using false documents under another customs accredited clients program, CACP. The seized products include well-known brands such as Glimerango, Four Cousins, Gordon's Chin, Fat Bastard, Jameson, Malibu, and various tequila brands. Mr. Nzala has warned that importers and transporters involved in similar illegal schemes risk having their goods and trucks seized and forfeited to the state and may also face prosecution in the courts of law. He says the authority remains committed to promoting legitimate trade by taking decisive action against fraudulent activities. Mr. Nzala says the ZRA is urging all importers to make correct declarations of goods being brought into the country. Meanwhile, members of the public and transporters are encouraged to report any suspected smuggling activities to the Zambia Revenue Authority. The chairperson of the Republican Progressive Party in Eastern Province has commended President Hakainde Hichilema for what he describes as the successful implementation and expansion of the school feeding program across the country. Alexander Miti, who is also an aspiring candidate for the Kansinengwa Town Council, said the initiative is a progressive and a transformative step towards strengthening Zambia's education system and safeguarding the welfare of learners, especially those from vulnerable communities. Mr. Miti said the provision of meals in schools is already making a tangible difference in addressing hunger among pupils, which he noted has long been one of the major causes of absenteeism. He explained that hunger has over the years contributed to poor concentration, irregular attendance, and increased school dropouts, and he added that with the introduction and expansion of the school feeding program, a significant reduction in absenteeism is expected, as learners are now assured of at least one nutritious meal during the school day. Mr. Miti stated that the program not only improves attendance but also enhances learners' ability to focus and perform better academically. The Zambia Police Service has formally charged and arrested Mambo Zimba of Waterworks area in Libala South in Lusaka for the offense of transmission of disruptive electronic communication. According to Deputy Public Police Relations Officer Chipo Kaitisha, the suspect has been charged contrary to Section 191A of the Cyber Crimes Act. Ms. Kaitisha said the suspect was apprehended following a joint operation conducted by the Zambia Police Service in collaboration with law enforcement agencies. It is alleged that on February 22, 2026, Mr. Zimba, in his capacity as a page administrator, transmitted the deceptive and misleading electronic image on a Facebook page known as Zambia for All 2026. The image allegedly falsely depicted the Republican president and commander-in-chief of the Defense Force, Hakainde Hichilema, lying in a coffin. Police alleges that the publication was false and misleading to members of the public, both within and outside the country. Mr. Zimba remains in police custody and is expected to appear in court soon.
Contrary to Section 19, subsection 1A of the Cyber Crimes Act number 4 of 2025 of the laws of Zambia, the suspect was apprehended following a joint operation conducted by the Zambia Police Service with other law enforcement agencies. It is alleged that on February 22, 2026, Mambwe Zimba, in his capacity as a page administrator, transmitted a deceptive and misleading electronic image on a Facebook page known as Zambia for All 2026, falsely depicting the Republican president and commander-in-chief of the Defense Force, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, lying in a coffin. The publication is alleged to have been false and misleading to the members of the public, both within and outside the country.
The mayor of Mansa, Njiko Musuku, has welcomed the launch of the school feeding program, announcing that 114 schools in Mansa district will directly benefit from the initiative, which he described as a game-changing investment in education, child welfare, and rural development. Mayor Musuku said the program significantly strengthens the gains made under free education by ensuring that every children not only have access to school, but they remain healthy, attentive, and ready to learn, particularly in rural communities where hunger has long undermined educational outcomes. He noted that by providing meals to learners, the government has now was now rather delivering the essential fuel required for effective teaching and learning, adding that the homegrown model of the program deserves special commendation for prioritizing locally sourced food supplies. The mayor emphasized that this approach creates a sustainable value chain by guaranteeing a market for local farmers, stimulating the rural economy while simultaneously nourishing the minds and bodies of future leaders. With school enrollment on the rise, Mayor Musuku highlighted the urgent responsibility placed on local authorities to ensure that feeding facilities are safe, hygienic, and dignified. And in other news trending this evening, The Democratic Progressive Party has expressed concern that some incumbent members of parliament may be viewing the ongoing delimitation exercise as an opportunity to restructure their political fortunes. The Center for Peace Research and Advocacy has welcomed what it describes as a timely and progressive Lenten message delivered by Alik Banda, Archbishop of Lusaka, to the Catholic faithful and the nation. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock has officially gone live on the Government Service Pass, widely known as Zampoto, in a major step toward digitalizing public service delivery. In a statement, Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock Principal Public Relations Officer Beni Munyama says the new development means that stakeholders can now conveniently access the ministry's key services online. Mr. Munyama says these include fish import and export permits, special fishing licenses, laboratory analysis reports, as well as livestock import, export, and in-transit payments. He says through Zampoto, applicants are able to submit applications electronically, upload required documentation, make online payments, and track the status of their applications in real time. The ministry says the digitalization of these services is expected to significantly improve efficiency, enhance transparency and accountability, and strengthen local revenue collection. Mr. Minyama says it will also help facilitate smoother international trade processes. The ministry has expressed gratitude to the Ministry of Finance and National Planning and the Smart Zambia Institute for their support in making the initiative possible. Ends the business news, and in foreign news, Donald Trump delivered a commemorative State of the Union address on Tuesday night that held what he said was an American turnaround for the ages. At a time when polls suggest many in the US are dissatisfied with the current state of the nation, and with Trump's leadership of it, the president offered little hint of a change of course. Instead, with an eye on crucial midterm elections later this year, he delivered a sales speech to the nation, a patriotic rallying cry to his loyal supporters in turns for their political opponents. It was a speech filled with theatrical flourishes, the kind of made for the cameras moments and man who once hosted a reality television show seems to enjoy. In sports news, Manchester United chief executive Omar Berrada says the benefits of the club's off-pitch transformation is being recognized through improved financial performance, even though the club's debt is now approaching 1.3 billion euros. United have posted an operating profit of 32.6 million euros for the 6 months to this 31st December 2025. This contrasts sharply with a loss of 3.9 million euros for the same period 12 months ago. However, United also drew down an additional 25 million euros on their rolling credit facility, which now stands at 295.7 million euros. Stand by for the weather report.
Class Econ Roofing Africa.
Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy.
Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
Lusaka and southern provinces, including the southern parts of eastern and central provinces, partly cloudy, slightly windy, and mild with isolated rain. ends our weather report, and that item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the stories that made headlines. The Zambia Statistics Agency has announced the drop of the annual inflation for February 2026 to 7.5% from 9.4% in January 2026, representing a 1.9 percentage point. The Zambia Police Service has formally charged and arrested Mambwe Zimba of Waterworks area in Livala South, Lusaka, for the offense of transmission of disruptive electronic communication. And finally, Donald Trump delivered a commemorative State of the Union address on Tuesday night that held what he said was an American turnaround for the ages. That's it, and that ends our evening menus. But for more news, follow us on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the happy world of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie. Enjoy the rest of the evening.